Good morning, friends. It's Nancy, and I have just this moment finished The Beast. It is huge. It's 3 inches across, about 9.5 tall, about 6.5 wide. You ready for a flip through? Okay, this might take a while. So for the inside pages, I used fabric. So this is sort of a pseudo toile sort of pattern, and this is an antique Battenberg lace doily there, so a little card could be stuck in there. This is the front cover, yeah, but it's a page from the original book, and I've just done some collage here with bits of paper, added some lace. The repeated theme of this journal is going to be lace. There is a ton of lace. So this book dates to 1909. On this page, I've just stitched on some hand crocheted lace. This is a letterhead from a fur farm, Black Siberian Hares, up near Clinton. Lots of blue in here as well. It's just the end of a piece of stationery here. I stitched on this book page and then added some fabric with little blue dots. Some antique 1840s ledger. And on this side is some old it's like an eyelet lace. Inside is a genuine trade card. It's blank on the back. This is a letterhead from 1928, and I fussy cut this little lady from an antique magazine, and it just flips up. There's a little this is a genuine Victorian scrap. It was part of a calling card. Here's the rest of this letter, and it has a little bit of collage down here. And this is from an antique magazine, and there's space on the back to do some journaling. A little fabric, little lace, glassine window here, piece of stationery, and this is the other side of that letterhead from the fur farm. This is a book, a little book page from a birthday book, and it's got my birthday on it. This is from an antique autograph book that I took apart, and it just tucks right up here in this little corner tuck that I used butterfly cut from a book page. Scrap of lace, a little more lace, and word snippet there, maybe sort of a label kind of thing. Oh, this is a little snippet cluster down here. This is actually, this little card with the wine bottles on it, this is actually a card from a game and an old price tag. Just did this little flip with the cover of a book, and a little tab is made from a stamp. This is the cover of a music book. I've added a little cluster tab here with a beautiful pearl button that's carved, and some lace, some netting, a little bit of a torn letter there. This is from This is in French. This is writing. This is from a school book, I think, maybe a geography book that someone was making as a project, perhaps. So this page talks about South America. This is a book page about Art Nouveau decoration. This is from a book about business practices. Got a little blue bead pinned down here on top of this lace. Another little fussy cut lady. I covered some of the page with, this is like a tissue paper that covers, you know, sometimes in the frontispiece of a book there'll be a portrait or an illustration, and it would be covered with this tissue. I just added that for some interest. On the back, this is a book page, and I've just tucked in a couple of things. So this is from a bank book, and this is from a little notepad. I'll just tuck that up there. I've got this little hand crocheted butterfly here, and inside is some little pieces of ephemera. So there's a calling card. This is also a calling card. I can't read the name anymore though. I feel like the last name might be Turner. And this is a cigarette card. This lovely lady with a blue background. Again, the school book, there had been a picture of, it was a black and white picture of something in Brazil. So I popped that off and I added this picture from an old children's book. Yeah, it says Board of Education, Toronto. Little scrap of the original picture is still there, but this flips up and you can do some journaling over that. This is gorgeous antique lace. Gotta make sure I'm sort of centered here. And this is a card, and it's from 1894. So it's a celebration dinner after a hunt. Hunt to begin on Tuesday morning. It's got a little blue sky, pink, gold. So I've just got it tucked in like that, so you can still see the picture. Oh, and this beautiful lace. This is from, well, this is a book page. Can't remember the Henry something or other. You know the book I'm talking about. Another composition book page. This one has a little cluster here at the top. It's lace and a bit of embroidery. This is a statement, and I've secured it here with the original pin. So this is from 1926, and flip it over. So you can see it's folded at the bottom. I think you can see it's folded at the bottom, and flips up. I've got it sewn to another page. This is the tag that I had in the pocket. This is the front of a letter from 1897. And then this flips open. You can do some journaling there. And then flip it back, put the tag in, and it's secret journaling. Nobody knows it's there. This is some tucked fabric. Tiny, tiny, like less than 1/8 of an inch tucks. And a little tag that I made using an inventory tag. So it has some lace and buttons and fabric and all kinds of stuff. And that is hand stitched onto a page. This was from a music book as well. And I've added some more page just to cover up some of the printing and add some space. This idea came from Kylie at Paper Daisy Journals. So this just is a piece of paper, a doily, and this is a little Victorian embossed scrap, just attached with a staple, and then it slips onto the page edge. I did a little bit of texture paste there using the new stencil, wallpaper stencil by TaylorMade Journals, which is lovely. I guess this is upside down. I should really have it this way. That way the fan is up. And then you see I have a page from an encyclopedia about fans. Some more beautiful antique lace. Just a little torn bit from a book. This flips open. This is a part of an envelope, and this little tag pulls out, goes back in. Flip. This is a tag that I made not too long ago. You might have seen me make it, actually. This page was short, so I just added some hand stitches here to attach this tag. It has a beautiful, beautiful pearl button there. This I just fussy cut from a book. Add a little word snippet. Oh, look at that lace. This is from a book about butterflies and moths. This is torn from a pillowcase. These pansies are they're pansies. And inside is a tag that I made. It's a book page about dahlias, and this is the original tissue that was over the illustration. It's from a very old book, so I've got that stitched to the edge of an 1878 ledger. And here's the other part of the ledger. March 1879 on this side. Beautiful, beautiful lace here. And just a little tag that I made using book page. Another ledger, this time it's in blue. This one came from Alice. Thank you, Alice. Here's a German book about birds. I stitched on a little bit of lace, some fabric, these fabric flowers, and a tiny little pearl button. This is an envelope, and I've just tucked a little notepad. This was from a book. It said English on the front, so. But it was full of this pencil writing. I'll just tuck that in there. This is some music manuscript paper. This is the genuine article. This came from a very, very old scrapbook. She's embossed. Here's a little tag that I made, and it's got some fiber here over the top, and this is a book page. I want to say this was a French book. Yes, it's French. And I've just glued it to the edge of this book page here. We'll see that in a minute. It's actually this book page with the watercolors photo. The back is blank. Anyway, this is an old spelling exercise book. And here I've got a little piece of crochet with a tiny little dangle and a blue bead, and a little tag that I made in a recent video, I think. Here's that music manuscript. This is the back of the German bird book. I had a little piece of an old letter and some beautiful hand crocheted lace. This page is created from this envelope, which I attached to this envelope. This is a pocket. This envelope came from 1897. It's got some embossed writing there and some texture. And that just fits right down there in that letter. This is a very old piece of glassine. Actually, I think that one's original. I didn't replace that. That's original. Another little hunk of crochet lace, and inside is this page from a tiny little book. It looks like it could be spelling words, because there's a number and then it says pamphlet, longitude, I don't know, California, peddler, lilac, I don't know. And then there's these little clippings from the newspaper or magazine maybe, and it was attached with these pins. So I've left the pins in. There's another one attached with a pin. And this is a piece of paper, blue. It's kind of got a vellum-y texture. This is some kind of a notice from the Canadian National Railways. Fussy cut this from a book. This is a blue bag, and inside I've got this letter from 1947. It's empty. On the back, I stitched this bird book on it and added some crocheted lace. This part opens, and again it has some trim here. This was torn from a, I don't know, a nightgown or a petticoat or something. And this photo is attached to the bottom of that CNR document, and it just shows the inside of maybe a pharmacy, something like that. The book that I got these images from was about the first experiments in using color photography. So this one says this is around 1910. Here I stitched on a couple of pieces of lace, so there's lots of space to tuck little things in. This is a piece of wallpaper and a fussy cut from a book, and it says, "The sender thinks always of thee." It's got some coffee dyed paper on the back. And this is, I have no idea what it is. It's blank on the back, but it talks about a sock social from 1921 at the church. I have no idea what a sock social is. This is a little tag I made, and I turned it into a tuck spot. So it has some very old lace, some silk embroidery ribbon. This watercolored lady here came from an 1870s magazine. Some more old paper, old music. And tucked inside is, this is a cover from a book about world, it had like buildings from all over the world. And it came from a sugar, Empire Tea Company. So, read our list of presents given free with 1 pound of Ceylon, India, or Java tea. So you could get 6 china egg cups, 1 mirror. So this is from Stratford. Stores at Woodstock, London, Berlin, which is where I live, Kitchener. Galt, St. Thomas, Owen Sound, Stratford, Hamilton, etc. There's another page from this book as well, but this is a image of the Eiffel Tower. So this is the back of that long window envelope that I put in here, and attached another letter from 1918. And what do I have inside? A little tag that I made, and I made this tab, and it has a genuine stamp there. So I guess I should have pulled this from the front. Here's another one of those over the page thingers that Kylie showed in a recent journal, which I thought was a fantastic idea. So here again is another book page, doily, and a couple of tickets. And I've just placed it over the edge of this ledger that I've done a little bit of stenciling on. This is an envelope that I tea-dyed and turned inside out. So it's got lace in the front, but it actually, this was the inside of the envelope, so I've just folded it the other way around so that the blue flowers are showing. Here's a page from a little notebook, and just got this clipped on here. Could be glued back into an envelope, but I've just left it so it can open right up. This page is completely covered with this gorgeous lace, and inside I have a couple of old invoices. So this one is from 1877 from a bookseller, stationer, love books, love stationery. And this one is from 1876, the year earlier, for someone who deals in paint, oil, glass artist, and wax flower materials, etc. So I think that might have been, you know, an 1876 version of Michael's, maybe. And both of these were this small. I did not cut these down. It says we'll ship balance in a few days. I like that the ink has turned sort of a purple to match sort of this purple color. And I've got it clipped with a vintage paper clip. This is from I was going to say this is from the Henry what's-his-name, but it's not. This is from a different book. This is a piece of genuine old ledger. I'm not sure if you can see this button or not. It's vintage, and maybe you can see it's got these little flowers around the edge. Here's a tag that I made. It's covered in lace. I've done a little cluster here. I think this might even be a Tim Holtz butterfly. This is a genuine cigarette silk. This coupon is from a very old coffee or tea where you would collect the coupons and then redeem them for some sort of prize. And some old lace and old pearl buttons. Got that tucked right in there. It's the other side of the ledger. You can see I've got the page numbers there. On this side, I've added another gorgeous carved pearl button. This is old fabric. I think it's feed sack fabric. And inside I have this altered postcard. The back was great, so I covered it with a little bit of cheesecloth, some lace, a photo. This is some old lace here, but the front of the card was ugly, so I covered it with some paper so that it could be used for journaling. Little cluster here. So these are scraps from a ledger, the 1840s ledger that I took apart recently. I added this stamp. It says 28 June 1914. This old music was from a Salvation Army band, so probably a cornet player or something would have this clipped to his instrument so he could follow the music. This is cut from a piece of linen, and those are all hand crocheted stitches there to make that lace. Another page from that book of early color photos. I love that. It says Anonymous, Palais de Beaux-Arts, Colonial Exhibition 1931. Oh, you fell out. Okay. Hand crocheted trim. This is a piece of genuine 1940s wallpaper. I've added a sari silk ruffle on the side and covered the back with some paper for journaling. This came from a very old National Geographic. This is a piece of stationery. It has sort of a white eyelet lace cover. This is an old postcard. I can't, this was going to Winnipeg, Manitoba. And the Leland Hotel, maybe? She's wearing a blue dress. Tuck that in that little lace pocket there. On this side, this is some tea-dyed paper. I've just done some cross stitches here on top of this little scrap of antique lace. Here's some more lace down here, stitched to the bottom of this bird illustration. I've stenciled here with some ink. This is from a little book about tartans, and this is the Graham tartan. Inside here, you pull this out, and here's some more hidden journaling space. This is from an old postcard, and it's attached with a paper clip. This is just some scraps of a ledger I've glued to the ends of this book about tartans. The other side of that guest book. And some more beautiful lace here, some stenciling. This is knitted lace actually, and I've added a little crystal blue bead. This is old ledger, and it just opens up like that. And this is an old cigarette card and some lace. This came from a very old 1925 magazine for shorthand writers. Here I've got a check. The check is glued here to this paper, and I flipped it up, made this little pocket, added lace on the edge, and this tag is a fussy cut swan on top of this very old ledger. This ledger came from 1840, 1841-ish. This check was from 1911, Bank of Montreal. This is a very old reader from turn of the century. I've added a couple different laces here. Beautiful pearl button. Gorgeous hunk of old lace. And I just added this little piece of silk ribbon down here in a bow. And this is a postcard, 1912. It's Valentine, but it's got a lot of blue, so I thought that would be nice. She's wearing a blue gown. This sort of hangs over the bottom. Some more hand crocheted lace. I did this one in a video, I think. So this is piano roll paper, and I fussy cut this little purple flower. And on the other side, I've got some lace. Here's a check from 1926. from the Montreal branch, the corner of Laurier and Park Ave. And this is a piece of paper from a very old autograph book. That's some very old lace. Just tuck that in there. Ledger. This is a belly band I made. This was just a strip of this woven fabric, and it had these pale blue stitches on it. And I've stitched it to this old book about flowers. Little tag or journaling card. It has a couple pieces of lace, some collaged old papers, and then this pretty lady. So it just slips in behind that belly band. On this side is an illustration of some flowers, old piece of music. Now, all this old tape was original to this piece of music. I believe it was for duet, for maybe. I've got an old doily stitched here, and inside this is a genuine 1940s wallpaper, and I've added some parts of an old letter. And it just slips right inside this pocket. Piece of I can't think of the word. Composition, from a composition book. This came from a book about oil painting. This side is blank, and this side had some examples of oil paints. There's that composition book. This is the other side of that music book. So this old tape, make sure you can see it. This old tape is original to the book. This came from a 1980s magazine, an illustration, I believe. And I just glued it on there. I thought it was gorgeous. I love all the fonts and the detail. There's some lace there, and there's a little piece of lace there, a little piece of lace there. This came from Eaton's. It says Toronto and Winnipeg. And it looks like there would have been a receipt written on here. It says the envelope should be carefully preserved for the correction of errors or returns of merchandise. And it's got a little flap, but I've turned the flap in so it didn't get ripped off. And it's ready for whatever. So that is super old bag, and it's in excellent condition. This is a cigarette card, and I've just got it tucked up into this little triangle of lace there. Another little advertisement from an old magazine, probably the same magazine as this one, I think. And I just added this little hunk of lace, hand crocheted lace. Some, oh, I did a collage of textiles here. So I've got some silk, some old tatting. This is some old bobbin lace, beautiful pearl button, some other like a filet woven lace. There's lots of different kinds of lace there, and there's more on the back. This is an old envelope, and I just put it on backwards, and this I just had in my junk. It's not new. It's, well, it might be new, but it's not an antique or anything. It's probably something I bought at a craft store once upon a time. So this opens up, and inside, this is a little invitation. I don't know what year, but the Mrs. Engelhart and Kendall were having a sale at the Hotel Frontenac. Dainty novelties, bridge favors, French veils and scarves, lingerie blouses, coats, gowns, kimonos, lace pillows, and embroidered table linens and laces. And I thought, well, that's completely fitting for this journal, so that's tucked in that envelope. I've just done a little collage here. So this came from an old journal, little stamp, and some of that gorgeous, gorgeous tape. I don't know what it's called. I understand it's German. It's for measuring something fabric, I guess. I'm so happy to have it because I've never found any in the wild, but generous people have sent it to me. This is a stereoscope image. It has lots of blue there. This is a Russian boat, but it has a British flag. Anyway, it's blank on the back. This page is from a household accounts book that was given away as a freebie from Purity Flower. Also had other advertisements in it. I've just added some tatting here on this side, a little strip of tatting. Housekeeper's account book is what it was. So this is about railroad in Niagara. A hunk of a sort of a ledger sort of thing. Or maybe an address book, maybe? No, because this is account number. I don't know. It has a letter Q. G. No, Q. It has the letter Q on it. Anyway, beautiful lace. This is from that same book as the Eiffel Tower cover. So here it's talking about, you know, buy 16 pounds of sugar or whatever, and you could get all these things. And so I've just got a little piece of lace there. Open it up, and here's some of the monuments. Just did a little bit of embellishment with some pieces of book page. So Rio de Janeiro, Mexico, that's Hauptansicht. Interesting. Don't know. Sydney and Melbourne. No. That's Mexico. That's Rio de Janeiro. That's Sydney. That's Melbourne. This is New York and the Brooklyn Bridge. And it turns over, and there's a blank space to do some writing. Here is a letter, and it's all handwritten in blue ink. And it's in, I believe, German. Hand crocheted lace attached to this book about flowers. And this is the front of a date book from 1950s, but it has these beautiful, beautiful forget-me-nots. So this is a calendar from 1951. It says copyright 1949 in there. So this was given as a, you know, probably the end of the year from a drugstore in Durham. About an hour from here, hour and a half maybe. Some book page, and on the back I have another gorgeous hunk of lace making a pocket. I did this in a video, so this was a card that was falling apart, and again it has beautiful forget-me-nots, and it just flips open, and there's areas to journal front and back of that background. This is the other part of that ledger. I've just added this book page to lengthen it, and this was a fussy cut from a Canadian history book. This is Pauline Johnson, who was a poetess. She was born not too far from here, about an hour south of here. This is the other side of that household accounts book. This guy I fussy cut from the same book as Pauline. I don't know who he is. I believe he was a prime minister. I don't know. But when I cut him out, he reminded me of those portraits that Tim Holtz has. This little piece behind him was from an old magazine. there's the other side of that. May 1909. So you just keep track of what you spent on amusements, boots and shoes, the butcher, lie, furniture and repairs. This is from a book about, it's not just birds, I think it's, anyway, it's British. This is a piece of an embroidered handkerchief. I just cut it off and did some stitches through the top so it wouldn't fray. I've turned the hem over there. Piece of paper that I've done some stenciling on. Here's another pretty blue bead there attached to that lace. This came from a book. And it shows like a little desk here, and somebody's got ink and pens and papers. And I just put it in there like a flip out. This is hand knitted lace that I've attached to this book page. And this envelope was made from a Reproduction Eaton's catalog page. Inside there's a piece of tea dyed or coffee dyed ledger. Camille made this. I believe it was Camille. If I have it wrong, I'm so sorry. And I fussy cut this teacup with the tiny blue flowers from a book that I have about tea. I thought it was nice because it had, you know, the china and whatever. You know what I mean. The book page itself, I covered it with this cover from an almanac from 1914. I can't remember why I hated that page so much. This is from a 1916 Ladies' Home Journal. There's these color images. This is, oh, it was a book page about Flowers of the Holy Land. This is a book page that I stitched this. This is seam binding. And I just fussy cut this little girl here to decorate that. This is the back of that scrap of handkerchief. Now, this had a fabric in here. I cut the edgings away from the fabric and glued it to this piece of glassine. It's embossed with little flowers. I put another piece of old glassine at the back because this was pretty brittle, but I glued on this piece of lace, yes, I'm in camera, to frame out this pocket. And this little tag, the letter is from the 1890s, and I just added this embossed ledger paper and this little fussy cut girl. A little bit of ancient netting there. It slides in and out easily, but I feel like this is going to be safe. Yeah, if I had just done just the single embossed layer, it would have smashed apart, I'm sure. Okay, this little square bit, this is tatted, and I've just clipped on this little locket. This came from my Crafty Crush. I didn't put anything in it, but it does open. And inside I have this letter. It's written in London. It's 3 pages long. Yeah, March 22nd, 1916. Get in there, you. Scrap of ledger there. This is from a book about British butterflies. Blank on the back. This little fussy cut came from a book, and I just added it to this music paper. This came from a book that teaches Spencerian handwriting. So you were to practice. This actually is a modern card. I went over it with some sandpaper, added some ink just to age it up a bit, and again, forget-me-nots. I love forget-me-nots, and there's plenty in here. This flips open. This is a lace snippet that I made with scraps of lace that I was trimming from this book as I was making it. This is a tatted trim that I cut from a pillowcase, I think, maybe, or a handkerchief. I cut it from something. And on this side, this old envelope, it says, by appointment to Her Majesty the Queen, Stationers, Frank Smithson, London. I just grungied it up a bit, added this fussy cut flower. Inside, this is genuine wallpaper from the 1940s, and I just added some handwritten scraps. So it just slides in there. And we have a little matchy-matchy tag down there. Same wallpaper. Beautiful lace. Here I made this envelope from a handkerchief. It's all folded. You can put something in here. I can take that off. This is a journaling card made from some wallpaper, fussy cut flower, and she was cut from, I believe she was cut from the original book. So what did we say that was, 1909? So that was a page from the original book. Oh, on this side, this is an altered envelope, and I made this tag that goes in it. It has lines, and the image is pale enough to write on, and then it slides right back in here. But things can be tucked up in here too. This came from well, it's a booklet, Examinations for French Composition and Grammar. I stitched on this tatted lace here. This was from a flight record journal thing. This is from a book about drawing ships, boats, with an old piece of lace. Music paper. This is from a Time booklet. This is the other side of that flying journal, and I've just flopped it over and glued it and added this little tag. This is made from 1940s wallpaper. Got this piece of lace here on the back of that examination booklet, and this has got, well, you can journal. It's made from an envelope, so you can put something in the back here. But it's got, like, this is from an old 1870s ladies magazine. This is some embossed piano paper. This is from an old letter, I think. There's a gorgeous hunk of lace there, and then this little image of this bespectacled bearded gentleman, and I've got that attached with an old paper clip. So I've tucked that in there, and then kind of tried to get the lace under there so that you can see him and not have to look through the lace still kind of. This came, this was, I think it was 1939. It talks about prices in 1941 though, but I remember seeing 1939 somewhere. So again, the furnishers of school supplies: Moncton, Montreal, Toronto, Winnipeg, Saskatoon, and Edmonton. This is a piece of sort of a silky fabric, that I've stitched on there. So this had writing on the back, but I covered it with this paper because you can see how many folds this was pretty soft. So at this time, we didn't have the Canada flag with the maple leaf. We used the Union Jack. Some beautiful pale cream eyelet lace with the fleur-de-lis, and another little crystal bead down here. Pretty old trim. This came from a book about, I want to say, some kind of mechanics. Can't remember. Somebody's workbook. This is from a very old music book. This has a little bird charm. The bird's body is blue. There's a little red flower there. But I've done 2 layers of lace here. So there's an eyelet lace, and then it's blue. This white lace that has these little blue blossoms on it sort of reminds me of forget-me-nots. And here is that envelope that I made last week. So this was inspired by an envelope I saw at work. This is a very old piece of linen. It's got drawn work. It has all these fine threads. I just added this little bead and a little brass pin there, and something could be stuck inside that little flap. So that is the quiver. I hope you enjoyed this flip through. Thanks so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. And thanks again. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.